Were friends first for a year and a half before we went on any date on the phone for a year and a half.
Jay-Z's name is suddenly getting pulled into the spotlight after those Epstein files dropped, and the footage and documents people are talking about are seriously raising eyebrows everywhere. No exaggeration, this is the kind of situation that's got the internet buzzing nonstop, with everyone trying to piece together what's real and what's just rumors. Before jumping to conclusions, it's important to walk through how this whole situation even started, because that's where things take a sharp turn. This story doesn't just come out of nowhere. It builds up, layer by layer, and once you see the full picture, it hits completely different. First, you have to understand who Jeffrey Epstein actually was, because a lot of people only know the surface-level details. On paper, he was a billionaire financier, moving in elite circles and dealing with powerful connections. But behind that polished image, there were serious criminal allegations that later came to light, and they painted a very disturbing picture. Reports and investigations described behavior that was deeply troubling and illegal, leading to major legal consequences and global attention. It got so extreme that people started comparing the situation to something straight out of a crime thriller, just because of how shocking the details were. Now here's where things get even more intense.
At what age was Foxy Brown signed?
No, I wasn't paying attention to Foxy Brown.
Yeah, but that's...
I didn't sign Foxy Brown.
I know
Stop
you.
putting
I'm
me in
just
that.
asking a
You keep asking
question.
because I'm on the block. I'm responsible for everybody.
You the boss.
I
I'm just asking a question.
don't know. My name is Cousin Bennett, and I ain't in it.
Oh, nah, you ain't in it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You was. I'm just saying.
I promise you. I
thought Foxy was like 16. That's all I'm saying.
what that, did I sign it? It sounds like you.
All I'm saying is when we live in these glass houses.
It seems.
Epstein owned a private island in the Caribbean, known as Little St. James in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Over time, that place became the center of countless discussions, theories, and confirmed investigations. People even gave it its own nickname, and not all of them were lighthearted, which tells you just how serious the reputation became. And that brings up the big question that still sticks with people. Why would someone need an entire private island like that in the first place? That question alone is what made so many people start looking closer from the very beginning. Now, this is where things take a darker turn for real. That island wasn't just some luxury getaway where rich people kicked back and enjoyed the sun. Not even close. According to court records and witness testimonies, serious criminal activity was tied to that location, and the allegations were disturbing. Investigators reported that Epstein was involved in trafficking and abusing underage girls, with multiple victims later coming forward to share their experiences. These weren't vague claims either. There were detailed accounts that led to major legal action and global outrage. It painted a picture of an organized operation that shocked people everywhere. And it didn't stop there, which is what made the situation even more intense. Reports and allegations suggested he wasn't acting alone. There were claims that other high-profile individuals, people in politics, business, and entertainment, had connections to him or visited the island. Now, it's important to note that not every claim has been proven, but the associations alone raised serious questions. Then another layer came out that really caught people's attention. There were accusations that Epstein kept recordings and sensitive information on visitors, possibly as leverage. If true, that would mean he had influence over powerful figures, which only added to the mystery surrounding how he operated for so long. Eventually, everything started catching up to him. In 2019, Epstein was arrested by federal agents in New Jersey after landing on his private jet coming from Paris. That moment marked the beginning of the end of his operation, as the case exploded into worldwide headlines. When this case blew up, the entire world was locked in, watching every update like it was breaking news every second. People weren't just curious, they were waiting for real answers about who else might have been connected to everything that was going on. Then something happened that took the whole situation to another level, and people still debate it to this day. On August 10th, 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his jail cell. Officials ruled it a suicide, but that's exactly where the public started asking serious questions. Think about it. This was a high-profile inmate, locked up in a federal facility, supposedly under constant monitoring. Yet somehow, at a critical moment in the case, he dies before any full trial could happen. That timing alone made people stop and look twice at the situation. Online, reactions exploded instantly. A lot of people didn't accept the official explanation and started sharing their own theories about what could have happened. Some believed he had too much information on powerful individuals, and that if he spoke publicly, it could have caused major fallout across different industries. Then more details came out that added fuel to the speculation. Reports mentioned issues like camera malfunctions and guards not following standard procedures that night. Those details made the situation feel even more unusual to the public, and questions only kept growing louder. For years after that, people kept pushing for transparency. They wanted to know who appeared in flight logs, who had connections, and what exactly was documented in the case files. Officials said certain information had to remain sealed to protect victims, but many people still felt like there were unanswered questions hanging in the air. People kept pushing for the truth, and eventually, pressure started building in a serious way. Then recently, lawmakers introduced measures aimed at increasing transparency around the Epstein case, leading to the release of a massive amount of documents. Court records, FBI tips, and investigative files all coming to light. As soon as those files dropped, the internet went into full investigation mode. People started digging through page after page, searching for names, connections, anything that could reveal who had ties to Epstein's world. It turned into a non-stop deep dive, with users breaking things down and sharing findings across every platform. And this is where things start getting sensitive, especially when it comes to public figures being mentioned. Some online discussions began linking Jay-Z's name to a tip included in those documents, but it's important to be very clear here. Tips and allegations are not the same as confirmed facts. One specific report that people pointed to involved a call made in 2019 to the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, where the caller claimed to be a victim of Epstein.
Like you got a question for Jay. Ask him. When you say that Foxy was 16 when she got signed, why did you say that just now? Just curious.
When I first was introduced to who Foxy was, I thought there was something between Foxy and Jay.
Oh, yeah, but that's the question you're trying to ask me.
Oh, I would say, because you was there. I only can ask the people. You my man, we close. You was there. That's all I was asking.
It would be so out of my character to speak on another man's business.
So we not going to do that, because we don't want you to speak out of character.
In that statement, the individual described events they said happened years earlier, including waking up in a location they believe was Epstein's property in Florida. The caller also mentioned other well-known individuals in their account, which is why the document started getting so much attention online. But again, these are claims from a tip, not verified conclusions, and no evidence has confirmed those specific allegations. That distinction is critical, especially with names being discussed at such a high level. For context, Sean Carter is Jay-Z's real name, and that's why people online started reacting so strongly to that document. The tip claimed that certain well-known individuals were present during alleged incidents, including Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z, which immediately caught attention across social media. The report itself described serious accusations, saying the caller believed they had been drugged and harmed while others were present. When people first came across this, reactions were intense, mainly because these are globally recognized figures with massive influence and reputations. We're talking about someone widely known as one of the biggest names in music and business, connected to major success and public admiration. That contrast is exactly why the claims sparked so much conversation and controversy online. The same tip also included additional allegations, stating the caller experienced multiple incidents over time and named several high-profile individuals in their account. Alongside Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein, the caller mentioned other powerful figures in business and politics, which only added to the scale of the discussion. Now, it's important to slow this down and look at it clearly. This information comes from a single unverified tip, not confirmed evidence or proven findings. While the caller shared detailed claims, no official investigation has confirmed those specific accusations against the individuals mentioned. A lot of people online pointed out that some names in the report had known connections to Epstein, which made the situation feel more believable to them. But at the same time, having a connection or being named in a tip is not the same as being proven involved in any wrongdoing. And that distinction matters a lot in a situation this serious. Looking back at the 1990s, people online started resurfacing old connections, especially involving financier Leon Black and Jeffrey Epstein. One detail that caught attention was a poem Leon Black reportedly wrote for Epstein's 50th birthday, which many felt showed just how close certain relationships were behind the scenes. And then, things get even more complicated with what was mentioned in that same tip document. The caller also brought up another music figure claiming that this person acted as a handler, meaning someone who would allegedly build trust with victims before introducing them to certain environments. That claim alone sparked a lot of intense discussion online. The caller described attending a party in 2007 where multiple high-profile individuals were allegedly present, including Harvey Weinstein and others from the entertainment world. They also repeated claims of being drugged during these situations, which made the allegations even more serious and disturbing to read. Now here's where social media really started connecting dots. Whether fairly or not, some users began pointing to lyrics and past personas in music culture, trying to link those to the allegations being discussed. But that kind of speculation can quickly spiral, and it's important to separate entertainment image from actual evidence. At this point, a lot of what's spreading is based on interpretation, assumptions, and unverified claims rather than confirmed facts. And with names this big, things can escalate fast without solid proof behind them. Then the situation took another turn when Nicki Minaj entered the conversation online. She began posting and reposting content that referenced Jay-Z, which immediately brought even more attention to the topic. One of the posts people talked about included an old photo of Jay-Z, who was 27 at the time, with Aaliyah, who was 16, and that added another layer to the ongoing debate across social media. Then people started bringing up more old photos, adding even more fuel to the online conversation. One image that kept getting shared showed Jay-Z at 26 with Foxy Brown, who was reportedly 15 at the time, and that immediately raised questions across social media. At the same time, another topic resurfaced involving a man named Rymir Satterthwaite, who has claimed for years that Jay-Z is his father. Now, as an adult, he's continued pushing for a paternity test, saying he wants clarity after all this time. Jay-Z has not taken that test, which is why the situation keeps getting brought back into the spotlight again and again. Online, people have strong opinions about that, with some saying taking a test could settle things, while others point out that legal matters like this can be more complicated than they seem on the surface. Still, the unanswered questions are what keep the conversation alive. And then there's the Foxy Brown situation, which has been talked about in hip-hop circles for years. Old interview clips have resurfaced, including moments where Wendy Williams questioned Foxy Brown directly about her connection with Jay-Z. In those clips, Foxy's reaction stood out to viewers, which is why they keep getting analyzed and discussed today. There was never a clear answer back then, no direct denial, but no confirmation either, which is exactly why people keep revisiting the topic today. That gray area left a lot of room for speculation, and over time, it just kept building. Even Nas, during his well-known feud with Jay-Z, made references to this situation in his diss tracks. He included lines that hinted at a connection between Jay-Z and Foxy Brown, which only pushed the rumors further into the spotlight at the time. Jay-Z and Foxy Brown have both publicly denied having a romantic relationship, and that's an important part of the story. Still, fans often point to lyrics in old songs, including one where Foxy Brown said, "On the low, the real dude was Jay-Z," and they continue to debate what she meant by that line. Then there's Dame Dash, Jay-Z's former business partner, who got asked directly about Foxy Brown in an interview with Nick Cannon. When the topic came up, Dame appeared uncomfortable and tried to distance himself, saying he wasn't the one who signed her and wasn't focused on that situation. But the moment stood out because when pressed further, Dame suggested he believed Foxy Brown was very young at the time, which added even more discussion around the timeline. That interview clip is still being shared today, with people analyzing every detail and trying to piece together what really happened. Dame Dash also brought up another situation that had people talking. He mentioned that Jay-Z worked on 2 full albums with R. Kelly, even after serious allegations about R. Kelly were already public knowledge. According to Dame, he questioned that decision directly, asking why someone would continue doing business under those circumstances. Dame claimed Jay-Z didn't see it the same way and moved forward with the projects anyway, which is why that moment still gets discussed today. For a lot of people, it raised questions about how business decisions get made in the industry, especially when controversy is involved. Now, some people online take those situations and start connecting dots, but it's important to be careful with that kind of thinking. Asking questions is one thing, but jumping to conclusions without proof is where things can get misleading fast. Then the conversation shifts to Beyonce, and this is where things become more sensitive. The public timeline, based on interviews, is that Jay-Z met Beyonce when she was 18, and they began dating when she was 19. Beyonce herself shared that they spent time as friends first, building a connection before becoming a couple. However, there are also conflicting claims that have circulated online. Gene Deal, who previously worked as a bodyguard for Diddy, gave an interview where he described seeing Beyonce at a club in the late 1990s and suggested she may have been younger at the time. According to his account, Jay-Z was already around her during that period, which led some people to question the timeline. But again, this is one person's claim and has not been confirmed by verified evidence, so it remains part of ongoing online discussion rather than established fact. Gene Deal also made another claim that got people talking online. He mentioned there has been confusion around Beyonce's age, pointing to comments from Gabrielle Union, who once said she went to school with her. Since Gabrielle Union is believed to be several years older, some people started questioning timelines. But again, these are claims and interpretations, not confirmed facts. That's how a lot of this conversation has been spreading, through bits and pieces of statements that people try to connect. But without solid verification, it quickly turns into speculation instead of clear truth. Now here's what really has people paying attention. Jay-Z himself hasn't publicly responded to these specific online claims. In situations like this, some celebrities choose to address things directly, while others stay silent, either for legal reasons or to avoid giving more attention to unverified stories. There have also been rumors circulating online, unconfirmed ones, that his private jet traveled shortly after these discussions started trending. Some people are trying to read into that timing, but the reality is, without verified information, it's just speculation and nothing more. Still, the reason this situation is getting so much attention goes beyond just one person. It taps into a larger conversation about accountability, power, and past behavior in the entertainment industry, which has already faced major scrutiny over the years. That's why people are watching closely and asking questions, but at the same time, it's important to separate confirmed facts from rumors so things don't spiral into misinformation. People keep pointing to past cases as examples of how long it can take for serious allegations to fully come to light. You had R. Kelly, where accusations were known for years before legal consequences finally happened. Then Harvey Weinstein, whose case shook Hollywood after a long period of silence. Even more recently, major figures in entertainment have faced investigations and charges, which is why the public is so alert right now. That's what's driving the big question people keep asking online. Could another major name be pulled into something like this? When a situation involves global celebrities and serious allegations, it naturally gets labeled as potentially huge, but that doesn't mean conclusions should come before evidence. Because here's the reality that can't be ignored. These are unverified FBI tips, not confirmed findings or court rulings. Jay-Z has not been charged with any crime related to these claims, and there's no public record showing that these specific allegations were proven. That distinction matters, especially with something this serious. The tip itself came from a call made back in 2019, and there's no clear public information on how far it was investigated or what the outcome was. Without that, it stays in the category of claims, not established facts. Some people argue the caller mentioned certain individuals who were later confirmed to have connections to Epstein, and that's why they believe the story holds weight. But knowing names or associations doesn't automatically validate every accusation being made. At the same time, Nicki Minaj stepping into the conversation added a whole new level of attention. She's a major figure in music, and her posts, reactions, and shares have amplified the discussion across social media in a big way. She's been bringing up old clips, images, and past moments that people either forgot or never saw before, which is why the situation keeps gaining momentum online. Still, social media activity alone isn't proof. It just shows how fast narratives can spread when big names are involved. Nicki Minaj's post definitely pushed people to start asking bigger questions, especially about things they feel may have been ignored in the past. At the same time, some of her statements go into extreme and unverified territory, including claims about secret groups and rituals, which have no confirmed evidence and are widely considered conspiracy theories. That's where things can get messy, because once those kinds of ideas enter the conversation, it becomes harder to separate fact from speculation. Still, the impact of her speaking out is clear. It brought even more attention to an already heated situation. Another thing people noticed is the lack of public responses from others in the industry. Usually, when a major artist faces accusations, you'll see peers either defend them or speak out. But in this case, there hasn't been much of that happening publicly, which some people find unusual, while others say it's just a sign that people don't want to get involved in something unclear. Then you got figures like 50 Cent adding to the noise online. He's known for trolling and speaking his mind, and he didn't hold back here either. He joked about the situation, even saying, "They got your man Jay in the Epstein files," and hinted at possibly turning it into a documentary, which only added more fuel to the online buzz. So this is where things stand right now. There are documents that include mentions of names, unverified tips that sparked major reactions, social media posts amplifying old clips and claims, and a lot of public curiosity about what's true and what isn't. At the same time, there are no confirmed charges or proven findings against Jay-Z related to these specific allegations, and that's a key fact that can't be ignored. The internet may be loud right now, but real conclusions come from verified evidence, not just speculation. A lot of people are focusing on the fact that Jay-Z hasn't publicly responded to these claims, and to them that silence raises questions. Others, though, point out that staying quiet can also be a legal strategy, especially when allegations are unverified and sensitive. There's also talk about why there haven't been defamation lawsuits or strong public statements, but again, those decisions usually happen behind the scenes and don't always play out in public the way people expect. What's clear is that this situation has turned into something bigger than just one name. It's part of a wider conversation about accountability, influence, and how power operates in industries like entertainment. People online are archiving documents, sharing clips, and keeping the discussion alive, making sure nothing gets overlooked. Whether someone believes the claims or not, the level of attention this is getting shows just how intense and far-reaching the conversation has become. We're talking about one of the most respected figures in hip-hop, possibly being mentioned in connection with one of the most talked about cases in recent history. That's not something people are just going to ignore or brush off like it's nothing. At the same time, it's important to remember, these are allegations and unverified claims, not confirmed facts. So the real question is, where do you stand on all this? Do you think there's something deeper going on? Or is this situation being blown up by speculation and online rumors? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is one of those topics where everybody's got an opinion and the conversation is only getting louder. And don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video so more people can join the discussion. This story is still developing, and if anything new comes out, you already know it's getting covered right here. Stay sharp, stay informed, and don't get caught up without checking the facts. Catch you in the next one.